Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention. Were you injured and diagnosed with the chronic pain condition reflex sympathetic dystrophy, RSD, also known as complex regional pain syndrome, CRPS? If so, call our lawyers right now. This condition can be disabling and may require additional compensation for treatment. If you are injured and diagnosed with a pain condition known as RSD or CRPS, call 800-589-7153 for a free evaluation of your claim.
Have you been diagnosed with bladder cancer? Sadly, thousands are every year. You might think that cancer just happens, but if you've taken the diabetes treatment drug Actos, it may have been the cause. A long-term study showed a direct relationship between Actos and bladder cancer, prompting the FDA to issue an official warning. If you've taken Actos and been diagnosed with bladder cancer, call this number now. If Actos caused your bladder cancer, you may be entitled to substantial cash compensation, but you must call now to find out more about your specific case.
Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention women who had bladder or prolapse surgery. The FDA reports dangerous complications resulting from some synthetic mesh used in prolapse and bladder surgeries. If you suffered serious complications from the synthetic mesh used in your bladder or prolapse surgery, you may be entitled to money. Call our lawyers for a free confidential consultation. 800-207-0211. That's 800-207-0211. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Have you or someone you know suffered from Stevens-Johnson syndrome? It's a serious, sometimes fatal skin reaction that has been linked to many commonly used medications, including Advil, Dilantin, Children's Motrin, and Chantix. Stevens-Johnson syndrome can result in severe and permanent complications, such as blindness, extensive scarring, and respiratory problems. If you or someone you know has been hospitalized with Stevens-Johnson syndrome, call 800-589-7153. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention diabetes patients. Are you currently taking the diabetes drug Avandia? Have you or a loved one suffered heart problems such as a heart attack, stroke, or congestive heart failure? If so, call 800-579-2913. The FDA warns there is an increased risk of heart complications while taking Avandia. If you've suffered a heart attack, stroke, or congestive heart failure after taking Avandia, call 800-579-2913 right now. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. After taking Fen-Phen, did you or someone you love have heart valve surgery? It's been more than a decade since the dangerous diet drug Fen-Phen was recalled. Its effects are still being felt today. A trust was established to pay for future medical costs for Fen-Phen injuries, such as heart surgeries. If you registered with the trust, you may be entitled to money. Call 800-589-7153. That's 800-589-7153. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention diabetes patients. Have you taken the diabetes drug Actos or other drugs containing pioglitazone? The FDA warns that taking Actos may increase the risk of bladder cancer. Actos has also been linked to heart problems. Never stop taking medication before asking your doctor. If you or a loved one took any form of Actos and have suffered bladder cancer or heart problems, you may be entitled to money. Call 800-589-7153 for a free claim review. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention diabetes patients. Are you currently taking the diabetes drug Avandia? Have you or a loved one suffered heart problems such as a heart attack, stroke, or congestive heart failure? If so, call 800-589-7153. The FDA warns there is an increased risk of heart complications while taking Avandia. If you've suffered a heart attack, stroke, or congestive heart failure after taking Avandia, call 800-589-7153 right now.
Attention, women who suffered serious injuries associated with birth control drugs. The drugs Yaz, Yasmin, and Yasminel are responsible for serious injuries like blood clots, embolisms, and more. Many injured women have already filed and settled cases against the manufacturer. Cases are settling right now for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Millions more have been set aside for future settlements. Don't wait. If you suffered any of these injuries after taking Yaz, call 1-800-798-9986. Cases are settling now. Don't miss your chance to get cash compensation.
Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention women who suffered blood clots after taking Yaz, Yasmin, Ocella, or Biaz. These birth control drugs have been linked to serious and potentially fatal health problems such as blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, and stroke. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with any of these problems after taking Yaz, Yasmin, Ocella, or Biaz, call 800-589-7153. Our lawyers are settling cases right now. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Were you allowed to take the antidepressant Wellbutrin during early pregnancy? Was your child born with a heart defect? If so, call 800-589-7153. A recent study suggests that taking Wellbutrin during early pregnancy may increase the risk of heart defects in newborns. If you took Wellbutrin during early pregnancy and your child was born with a heart defect, call our lawyers at 800-589-7153. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Hip replacement product recall. DePuy Orthopedics has issued a recall of hip replacement parts implanted in nearly 93,000 people. The defective parts can cause problems such as dislocations, fractures, and infections that may require additional hip surgeries. If you've suffered complications with your hip implant, or if your hip implant has required a second corrective surgery, call 800-589-7153 right now. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Paxil is a drug approved for the treatment of various forms of depression. A recent study suggests that women taking Paxil while pregnant, as compared to other antidepressants, may be twice as likely to have children born with birth defects, heart defects, or primary or persistent pulmonary hypertension in newborns. Never discontinue taking any medication without consulting a physician. But if you are taking Paxil while pregnant and your child was born with a birth defect, heart defect, or PPHN, call 800-814-0444. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. The FDA reports diabetes drugs Byetta, Genumed, and Januvia have been linked to acute pancreatitis and kidney failure. The report also states these drugs have been linked to hemorrhagic and necrotizing pancreatitis, which can be fatal. Symptoms include constant severe abdominal pain, vomiting, and weight loss. If you or a loved one have suffered from pancreatitis or kidney failure after taking one of these diabetes medications, call 800-589-7153. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Hip replacement product recall. DePuy Orthopedics has issued a recall of hip replacement parts implanted in nearly 93,000 people. The defective parts can cause problems such as dislocations, fractures, and infections that may require additional hip surgeries. If you've suffered complications with your hip implant, or if your hip implant has required a second corrective surgery, call 800-579-2913 right now.
Have you or a loved one taken the diabetes treatment drug Avandia? Did you suffer a heart attack, congestive heart failure, or stroke, or has a loved one died after taking it? If so, Avandia may have been a factor, and you may be entitled to compensation for your injuries. Never stop taking any drug without first talking with your doctor. But if you've suffered a heart attack, congestive heart failure, or stroke, or a loved one has died after taking Avandia, call this number now for important information on your right to compensation.
Attention men who underwent testosterone therapy. A recent study links testosterone treatments to a 30% increased risk of heart attack, stroke, or death in men. Never stop taking medication without asking your doctor. But if you or someone you love suffered a heart attack, stroke, or pulmonary embolism after testosterone therapy, the manufacturer may be to blame. Call 800-721-6800 for a free confidential consultation. You may be entitled to compensation, so call now.
Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention, women who had surgery for pelvic organ prolapse or stress urinary incontinence. The synthetic mesh products used in these surgeries may cause serious side effects, including organ damage, incontinence, painful intercourse, and the need for additional surgeries. If you suffered complications due to transvaginal mesh or sling products, you may be entitled to compensation. Call 800-800-1505 for a free evaluation of your claim.
Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention hip replacement patients. Stryker Orthopedics has issued a recall for 2 of its hip replacement systems. The recalled hip products can cause serious health problems and may require additional surgeries. If you've suffered complications with your hip implant, or if your implant required corrective surgery, you may be entitled to a cash award. Call Norris Injury Lawyers for a free claim analysis. 1-800-REAL-LAW. That's 1-800-732-5529. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention dialysis patients. If you or a loved one suffered a heart attack within 24 hours of dialysis treatment, you may be entitled to a cash award. The FDA reports dosing errors during dialysis may greatly increase the risk of heart attacks. If you had a heart attack after dialysis treatment, call Norris Injury Lawyers for a free claim analysis. 1-800-REAL-LAW. That's 1-800-732-5529. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention cancer patients born before 1965. You may be entitled to compensation no one has told you about. If you have lung cancer, esophageal or laryngeal cancer, stomach or colorectal cancer, money may be available for you. Call Norris Injury Lawyers for a free confidential consultation. 1-800-REAL-LAW. That's 1-800-732-5529. Non-lawyer paid spokesperson. Attention women who suffered blood clots after taking Yaz, Yasmin, Ocella, or Biaz. These birth control drugs have been linked to serious and potentially fatal health problems such as blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, pulmonary embolism, and stroke. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with any of these problems after taking Yaz, Yasmin, Ocella, or Biaz, call 1-800-411-0141. Our lawyers are settling cases right now. Attention, women who took Lipitor. Did you or someone you love develop diabetes after taking the cholesterol medication Lipitor? A recent study links Lipitor to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Never stop taking medication before asking your doctor. But if you're a woman who developed diabetes after taking Lipitor, you may be entitled to compensation for your medical treatment, pain and suffering, and more. Call 800-816-8500 for a free evaluation of your claim. Social Security disability. Do you suffer from a disease, illness, or injury? Call 800-513-5300. Are you disabled and can't work? Call 800-513-5300. Do you need Social Security disability to provide for your family? Call 800-513-5300. Our disability lawyers are ready to help right now. If you need Social Security disability, call 800-513-5300. Attention, women who took Lipitor. Did you or someone you love develop diabetes after taking the cholesterol medication Lipitor? A recent study links Lipitor to an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Never stop taking medication before asking your doctor. But if you're a woman who developed diabetes after taking Lipitor, you may be entitled to compensation for your medical treatment, pain and suffering, and more. Call 800-816-8500 for a free evaluation of your claim.
Attention